Guru Nation, thank you so much for joining. It's a very special episode. We talk about diversity a lot, but it's important to showcase the sites that are actually doing more than just talking. I think there's more power, wouldn't you say, Lee, in doing rather than talking? I know talking precedes action, but at some point, talking should be a potential energy, becomes kinetic. And in your case, it is, because you and I talk a lot, but now you're doing. You reaching out to Native American communities in Phoenix, Latin American, and today you have a special guest on that's your recruitment liaison, I think, or what's the official title for Che?
He's our tribal liaison. Che works with not only his community, but is working to expand into other surrounding Native American communities and tribes. So
Amazing.
he's,
How
I'm
did you, first of all, even get to know Che? Like, how did that happen?
well, we were so I was up north, and there is where my kid trains for dirt bikes, the Maximus
Ah,
Racing Instagram.
Max the champ, first play,
But
gold medal.
we were bowling. There's a bowling alley on a reservation close to one of those tracks, and we were bowling there with our kids. And then I met Che doing that, and then we hung out for a while. And I was telling him about what I do, and he was telling me about what he does, and he had a interest in it. And he'd actually brought up. I was telling him how I did, um, clinical trials for diabetes and obesity, and he brought up interesting fact, and actually a call we just had that the Salt River Pima, and actually the Pima tribe in general, has the highest rate of diabetes anywhere
Yep,
in the world.
yep.
Not just the U.S. It's worldwide. I actually had to verify that after our last call. He provided me with that information, and I just found that was really interesting. I looked it
Oh,
up.
that specific region, like the Salt
That's
River
this
region?
specific, yeah.
Ah, okay,
The
okay.
that specific tribe has the highest level of,
Ah,
not just that region, that tribe has the highest level of diabetes. So, he said that they're really focused on health initiatives, and he wanted to help. So I was super excited to have somebody that's a member of the tribe that wanted to help and was excited about research and the opportunities it could present. So I jumped to bring him on board.
do you talk to everyone everywhere you go? Like, do
Uh,
you just not stop talking ever, right? You're always networking. Are you
well,
ever shy?
I'm passionate about research. I'm excited about the help.
Well, good
Um,
things happen when you do talk. So that's thank you for being who you are, Lee, because you're showing Guru Nation what you can be doing. And yeah, you may not have Native American tribes in your region, but certainly you have community leaders and people engaged in the communities in your community that you guys can go talk to. So Lee's being a perfect site owner example for everyone.
we were talking about that on a podcast a little bit ago. One of the things, since I got into research, the philosophy has always been that you have to meet the patients where they're at. They're not going to leave their local community to drive to new communities where they're not comfortable and they don't feel like they're well represented in the staff or the demographics of those clinics. So if you meet them where they're at, your success rate on recruitment goes wildly up.
I see. That's a good point. I mean, this is amazing. Monica, just hearing this before we hear from Jay, what do you think? As another site owner yourself, this is exemplary
I mean,
behavior.
I admire Lee because Lee is really, um, since I know him, I don't know how long we have been talking with Lee, but I have seen the transition.
BC,
Uh,
before Corona.
exactly. That's great, Dan.
That is
So,
funny, Dan.
so Lee is very creative on the things. I think you always go like a mile ahead. So it's not surprising for me that you're doing this, and especially with the part of networking that a lot of people still underestimate how powerful that is, and obviously the passion. So when you talk to somebody about what you do passionately, that's what happens. Magic happens.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what Lee's doing in his community. And I think that's awesome. That's amazing. And even more getting involved, communities such as the community that Che is how you pronounce it, represents. And I love also that Shay had that the interest on doing it. If you didn't transfer that information so passionately, probably Shay will not be working right now with you.
What did you think of
Shay,
Lee, Che, when you first met him at the bowling alley? Like, what did you think the first time you heard clinical research? What went through your head?
Um, well, kind of when we first met, he mentioned like the diabetes thing right off the bat. And my dad, he suffered from diabetes along with a lot of my aunts and uncles in my family. A lot of my family members suffered from diabetes. And so that kind of was like what rung my bell, like, because seeing my dad suffer a lot of the times, um, it just kind of like I wish there was more alternatives, especially growing up on the reservation. You go to the clinics and they're free clinics, don't get me wrong, but they're all ran by the government. So, you're not getting the total best care. I want to say per se. And I just feel like would have been able, if my dad was still around, that it's probably something that I could have helped him get his diabetes under control and stuff like that. So yeah, it just sat close to my heart when I met Lee, and it just made it possible it just made, I guess, that drive in me to maybe this is something I could bring back to my community and help out the rest of my community and my family that do suffer from diabetes and obesity.
and I think to piggyback in what you're mentioning, that's probably the best part because now that you know about research, transferring this information to your community, they are not going to trust anybody else more than somebody that look like them, that is part of their community, right? So that was a smart move and a beautiful part that you became part of research.
One of the big things is too that Che is already a community leader there. He coaches baseball teams and is involved with sports. So kind of a natural leader. People that really look out for their own community, especially when they're volunteer their time with children. They fit well with inside the research community. And they already have that kind of that trust and just that willingness to help out. So it was a really good fit for us with him.
Have you guys done lunch and learns? Because we have a few tribes around Yuma. Three of them in particular. One is technically in California, but it's on the other side of the hill from Yuma. And we've met with tribal councils, and there is a lot of bureaucracy to get into those clinics, like to be a trusted referral partner, I guess. Do you?
Would that be the Colorado River tribes?
Yeah, yeah.
I got family out that way too.
Okay. Well, maybe we could help us out here, Che. We could do a moonlighting liaison for Yuma clinical trials if you want. It's tough to get in, and one of the things I noticed, a nurse at the Native American Health told me, she said the majority of our patients, they're afraid of the blood draw, but they're not afraid of the needle. They're afraid of the results. So they just rather not show up to the visits. And that's so true. I mean, we have patients afraid of needles. I understand that. And she said, no, no, they're not afraid of the actual needle. They're afraid of what you're going to tell them when you see their results. And so I thought that was so telling, like how underserved some of these communities actually are because it just requires a little bit of education to say, well, these numbers are the first step towards you getting better potentially, right? And if research is just that introduction into like a better course of treatment for you, even if it's not in a study, just knowing your results beforehand and you get paid for your time while you're there. But it's tough. You do need, I feel like, boots on the ground constantly in those communities.
We actually so Che has set up some really good initiatives for us. He's started communication with a community center that's going to allow us to use a room to do free fibro scans. So we're going to bring people
Ah,
in for NASH studies. But we can gather medical history there as well, and then see if they fit in a variety of studies, whether it be COPD, obesity, diabetes, chronic kidney disease. They
did you go
also
through the tribal council or did you just work like
he's so
outside?
Che actually has some family on the tribal council. He's working with because of his coaching background, he has connections at the community center, but he is trying to we haven't fully got in yet, but we are working on kind of building a relationship with the clinic on the reservation to provide the clinical trial opportunities directly to their patients. I think we're going to get a good feedback from the tribal council, specifically because they trust Che, but also because they have a vested interest in bringing healthcare initiatives to the tribe. On top of that, just you say boots on the ground. We're actually going to go to a powwow this weekend.
Yeah, I heard you
I've got
mentioning that.
some, yeah, I've got some patient-facing materials for some trials we have going on, but
Who's
just
going?
being
You
out
and
there with my
Daisy, or
family.
who's going?
Che, and I think I'm going to bring my whole family, my
Okay,
kids, and I don't
that's
know.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm from an area in Michigan where there was powwows. In Mount Pleasant, we had a big reservation. It was the Salt. I'm sorry, not the Salt. It was the Saginaw Sag Chip Reservation. I have a bunch of friends that are members there, and we'd go to the powwows together. They're big
Wow.
parties. It's a good time.
Well, I'm ignorant in that language. What is that?
You know what? That's
What's a
actually better.
powwow? What's a
I'll,
powwow?
I'll let Che explain a powwow from
Yeah, Che, help us
his
out,
point
man.
of view.
I've heard
It's
it
pretty
before.
it's pretty much it's a gathering of a bunch of different tribes that come together. And before it used to be just like a social gathering, but now it's more or less a competition. They got money on the lines for the different drum groups. They have different drum groups come from all over the country, and then different dancers come in from different parts of the country too, as far as Canada and stuff. And they showcase their dancing skills. They got different types of dances that they judge on, and they have judges and stuff. And but it's also it brings people together just to come watch. They have food vendors. They got different types of booths set up for jewelry and stuff like that. So it's a giant gathering that brings people together and watch some friendly competition and traditional dancing that they've been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years. And
That culture is deep, to
Wow.
say the least. I mean, that goes far back than more than history can record
yeah,
in
and
North America.
if you were to go to one of the powwows, I mean, you'll see so many vibrant colors and just the life there and the aura there is just it's just uplifting. It's rooting to not only Native Americans but just to whoever's there. It's just a lot of real positive vibes and uplifting type of I would say ceremony because they do a lot of praying and stuff, but it's open to everybody to go and visit and stuff.
Oh, I
Okay.
would love to go to one of those.
I know you would.
You could get some, Monica, I'll pick up some beads for you. The bead work is absolutely incredible.
Wow, I will
I'll
love,
try and
love,
grab something
love to
for you that
go.
I can send to you, and you can wear it on your
Thank
next
you.
Oh,
podcast.
yeah,
Okay. Oh, that would
next
be
one will be live
amazing.
there at the powwow.
We could do that. We could do that.
Che, or Che or Lee, whoever can answer this, maybe, or maybe both. What have been some of the, if any, pushbacks, initial hesitations from the potential participants in the studies? Like, have you encountered any resistance or challenges?
Not with not with Che's tribe yet. I have with others. I have with others. Now, initially too, the I really had so like Indian Health Services is really, really hard to deal with. However, that's why I was just really excited to bring Che on and get to know him because the the opportunities that are created from coming from within inside the tribe, when you go from inside out versus outside in, it's just a lot more successful and productive. And he has I would say the clout to really develop it. People trust him, so I'm excited for that. Che, what about you? And any scenarios specifically of pushback or not yet, really?
Um, the only thing that pushback I got is the skeptic behind clinical trials. Like when I explain it to people, they'll be like, "What am I gonna grow something funny? Am I gonna grow another arm?" And I was like, "No, it's nothing like that. It's something that's benefit to you. It's stage 3 clinical trial, so it's gonna be, it's top notch, and you're gonna be taken care of, not only by the medication, but by all the staff and everything." And I just try to reiterate to them that it's something that's going to benefit them for the long run. And it could also benefit their family too, as well, if they're struggling from the same symptoms or same diagnosis as them.
Yeah, I think that the greatest benefit is that the data of your community is now gonna be part of it, and then if the drugs get approved, then we're gonna know that it actually worked for the community. So that's probably for me is the biggest benefit, right? When it comes to including diversity.
Jay, now that you've learned a little bit about research, what do you think about the industry? Do you think there's a are you looking at it like as a career now? Because you know how Monica got her start in clinical research. She was a community outreach liaison recruiter, and now she's a site owner. You think you got that in your future, or is it too early to think about this?
I mean, currently, I do laborers types jobs, you know what I mean? And so it's a different step. It's something I've always been passionate about as a youth, was reaching out to my community and other communities. I served on the youth council for my tribe for a few years, and like Lee said, I coached baseball for my community and other sports too when needed. So my passion is really being able to help my community and other communities behind it. So it's something it's something I could look forward to and seeing in the future, but I haven't really took too much thought, but it's potentially there. You know, I'm always about growth, and I'm always about trying to help other people grow as well. So I mean, I can see it in the future.
Jay, one question I
Yes,
have,
sir.
because I know you have to leave early, so I want to get your questions in first. We have a lot of pharmaceutical workers, drug companies watching, right? That's not our main audience, but they watch. They're lurkers. They sit there, they don't say anything, but they watch, they take notes. They're very, in the corner, like they don't come out, but they're watching. So
Yeah.
they never get a chance. They are all trying to reach Native American communities. What advice do you have to them about the best ways they could go about doing it, or should they not even bother? Should they instead have leave that to people like Lee to try to do?
I mean, as far as like big pharmaceutical companies and stuff like that, leave it to the small man like Lee. You know what I mean? Like, he's there, he's able to show face. I mean, that's what my communities want, is somebody that's gonna be there, that is gonna be able to pick up the phone when you call and not have to get the run around. And I know with probably a lot of those bigger companies, you're gonna have to go through different areas and emails and stuff just to get an answer. And with Lee and his crew, they're on the spot. You know what I mean? Their hospitality, they care about how you feel. Besides just giving you the medication, they care about how you feel as a person and how you're treated as a person. And I think everybody just wants to be treated equally. You know what I mean? And everybody wants to be treated as a human being to I would say, like, just in general, nobody wants to be treated like just a number. And with Lee and the smaller groups like that, they could treat people like human beings and not just a number.
You heard it from Che,
Well,
guys. Small is the
Don,
new
I
big.
love that. I love that
I was waiting
answer.
for you to work in that small is the new big, Dan. I was gonna say it, but you beat me to it.
It's a universal law,
Yeah.
man. Small is the new big. Che, can they help at all, or should they just stay away and let people like Lee? Like, do you mind if they join Lee? Everyone has like a spectrum of preferences. What do you recommend? Because they're taking notes at this point, these
Yeah, I
people.
mean, to me, I mean, people get real hesitant, especially in especially when bigger companies come in and they feel like they're gonna get overtaken and probably like pushed out, or they're not gonna get taken that seriously. It's gonna kind of turn into more or less like corporation rather than community. Like that's like we're called the Sovereign Maricopa Indian community. And with the smaller guys like Lee, their company is like a community. They're like a family, and so there's just more trust in that, I believe.
Yeah,
And
Lee bowls at the same bowling alley you do, and
yeah,
that's where he met you.
yeah,
Lee, amazing,
he's a
man.
good bowler too at that.
Really?
Yeah, believe
Oh,
it or not.
that's impressive, man. That was a very proactive bowling session, or a productive one. Lee, what is your plans with Che? Like how long have you worked together? What's the
Um,
goals? What outcomes are you trying to look for?
we've been going back. We've been working together pretty actively for the last month. It's a new initiative, but he's really stepped it up, even as far as looking for locations for us on the reservation.
Oh,
Really,
wow.
we are we're not against opening up a physical location on there yet. He's actually already set me up with his family's, the community's,
Land management.
yeah, yeah, asset manager that has land. They unfortunately there was a clinic that was ready to go that they just converted to office space, so it's not going to be a fit. I think we're focusing on providing the fibro scans inside the community center, and then seeing if we can possibly lease some space or at least work and integrate into an existing clinic that's on there. But those meetings are still pending. In the meantime, we're really working with the community closely to, we're going to be out there at the powwow handing out flyers. I've got some patient facing material, IRB approved for all the pharma that's listening. They're IRB approved, but just talking to people in the meantime and getting them excited and understanding research. It's really just about education at this point. As soon as they start, something that we had talked about previously with Che and I is that what always happens, all of the clinics I've ever opened are usually based on serving underserved communities. And what happens is there's a large amount of research hesitance at the start. But as soon as we start enrolling subjects, they realize that this is the best healthcare they've never had to pay for. And the treatment they get, the knowledge they get, and how well they're monitored really makes them feel comfortable. It's also about educating them on the research process, that there's such a high bar when we're bringing phase 3 clinical trials. We already know that these medications are safe and effective. We're trying to gather data to show them they're safer and more effective than anything else that's in existence currently. That's an extremely high bar to meet to gain FDA approval. And most of the medications I have right now are already FDA approved in one way or a form. They're looking at different indications and they're looking at new areas to utilize those medications, or sometimes different dosings, but the safety profile is well established. We just need more data, especially from underserved groups that don't participate in the trial. So that's really kind of our mission and our goal. And, we get the benefit of not just bringing, FDA approved or phase 3 medications. We get the benefit of providing it to them at no cost, and they just they're receptive to it.
Shay, I don't want to keep you, man, standing there in the sun.
No, you're good.
Only someone from Arizona knows how to strategically stand where the face is like in the shade.
Right.
You gotta be from
Got
here to know
that.
Shay, any last like words of wisdom to the clinical research community that includes other site owners like Lee or even big, huge companies that you mentioned? Any like last statements or advice or just, I don't know, anything you want to say to them?
I mean, don't be afraid to get to know the community. Like Lee's coming out to my community tomorrow night, and we're gonna walk around and probably share some food together and be open. You know, if somebody offers you something, especially in Indian country, it's always polite to accept it. You know, whether it's a glass of water or a full meal or a gift. You know what I mean? And just be open to talking to people. I mean, that's the best advice: communicating and being open and open to listening to what they have to say too, as well. And that's probably the best advice I could get as far as that.
Thank you very much, Shay.
Thank you. Thank you for preserving your community and helping them grow and bringing them something new, another option.
Thank you.
I love the tribes and the Indian stuff. I think I was an Indian in my past life or something, but I really do. A lot of respect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Che. I appreciate it greatly. I'll see you tomorrow as well.
All right. Yep. Sounds good.
Thank you.
I'm
Shay.
gonna go ahead and log off, you guys. Have a good day.
We'll
Thank
reach
You
out
you.
too.
soon,
Thank
man.
Tell
you.
your kids I said hi.
I will.
Shay's gonna moonlight for you, my clinical trials, Lee.
I know. I was thinking like, hey, I steal your employees, not the other way around.
Yeah, where is Daisy? She's still there?
What's
Daisy's still
that?
there? Daisy's
No, I
still
think
there?
I think she realized that I was tied up and couldn't tell her that it's too early to leave, so she split.
She's a good CRC. That was a productive bowling alley session.
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Do you do that everywhere you go? You just talk to people? I'm sure it gets you in
until,
trouble too.
until they leave, until I annoy them.
I'm sure it gets you, I was gonna say, I'm sure it gets you equally in trouble as it does produce positive results.
Well, it's funny. My wife always says, "Lee makes the friends, I keep them."
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like me. That's
I'm
kind of like me and my wife.
No, I'm an excitable person, you know. I mean, especially first 5 minutes, you know, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited. I'm a little ADD, but I'm passionate. So, and I'm brutally honest. That's what gets me in trouble. I've actually done quite a few podcasts from people that have saw us before, or I've done quite a few off the record conversations. And you know, especially people that they're trying to look at how to grow their career in clinical research or to get into clinical research. They'll call me, especially if they're experienced, and they'll say, "I really want to talk to you because I could tell you're a guy that's going to shoot me straight." And
Yeah, you are.
I have that reputation, I guess, but I don't, you know, yeah.
More should be like that. I mean,
But I do
that's
talk to people everywhere I go, especially about research. It's exciting, you know, and people are so misinformed about it. That's how, I mean, I didn't know anything about research until my grandmother got sick, and that's when I really started learning about it and coming talking about Monica's background as a recruiter. That's how I started. You remember pre-COVID, you know, I started off recruiting and I was going to build a recruitment company, and then I realized sites just don't have the budget for it, or they looked at it the wrong way. And then when I was working inside sites, I saw some sites that I didn't feel that they were doing, I don't think that they were operating properly. I thought they had their focus, patients weren't their main focus and responding to their patients. And I thought if I came in and I focused on that, especially in underserved communities, where if you go into a health clinic in an underserved community, there's people that are sitting there waiting for an hour and 45 minutes just to get into their 20-minute appointment. That's unacceptable. Now, the providers are overworked. Insurance insurance reimbursements are way down. They do what they have to do to survive, but research, you know, we operate a different way. We can do better. We have a responsibility to do better. My patients don't wait when they come in here. Somebody should greet them at the door, give them a snack, a bottle of water, coffee, if it's not a fasting visit, and get them ready. Because I need retention is a big thing we focus on. We have an excellent retention rate. It's because our patients, they're excited to come. They want to come to our visits. They like that they like that we talk to them. They like that we know them personally, and they like the snacks and the good coffee.
do you take the business?
That's the same for me. But yeah, I think just exactly what Shay was saying. We treat people like not a number. We treat humans, and I think that that's the success on the sites that have that kind of approach to keep the patients. I mean, forever. They are not just participating, but they spread the word too to their families and friends and everybody. So that's I think that's the way research should be done, because I mean people participating in research are doing a great thing for the whole community, right? And why don't you be treating them the best you can do?
Yeah, it's when especially when you're getting into community events too. You know, it's one thing to be behind a booth and be there like it's a conference as a salesperson. It's another thing to be up there, be part of the community with your family. When we do community events, you know, I like to take my family, let them know I'm a real person. I have young kids. I love my children and their children, and I'm not going to do anything to harm mine, theirs, or their family. So when they see you as a real person, and that's something, as Dan had asked, that you know, there's certain corporations or certain pharmaceuticals, they try to do outreach events. They're bringing their big money, you know, RVs or vans to get, but it doesn't hit. What hits is the guy that shakes your hand, gives you a hug, and is hugging his kid and eating an elephant ear with you, you know, while you just talk about real stuff. I think people respond.
Elephant ear.
It's like a Midwestern churro.
Ah,
Do you know what an elephant ear is?
no,
It's kind of
man.
like fry bread. Sorry, that's
Wow. Learn
it's
something new,
like
man.
No,
Well, we do
I'm
all
sure
of that
Dan
except
has
the
tried
elephant
it.
ears.
No, I'm sure Dan has tried it, because we have it in Latin America, and in Mexico has it too.
Chicharron?
It looks like a elephant ears,
It's
Like a
right?
fried.
donut?
Yeah, it looks like an elephant ear. It's fried dough with
Yeah.
cinnamon and sugar on
Mm-hmm.
it.
Ah, yeah, donuts. Yeah. Okay.
Kind of,
Okay.
but it's a fair food. But I was just trying to. I guess that didn't hit very well, but I'm trying to
Well, it hit very well. I just
lay
didn't know
out
what it was.
the picture. Um, you know,
But I totally agree with what you're saying, Lee, because it's not the same, and also it's not the same trust when a big corporation comes than when a family-owned
He said
business
it
comes.
himself, Che. Che said that.
Exactly. It's just completely different. So I think what the big corporation needs to do is support the sites, supports and assist us in doing our work, but assist us well, right?
right,
And
right.
and provide us the
Resources
resources
that
that
we
we
need.
need, because it's a lot of work.
What resources
And
specifically? Like, what are the top five you need?
I mean, first
Money,
of
of
all,
course.
obviously money,
Yeah.
Yeah, budgets
and then
to do
Because
this
they
kind of
always
work.
ask,
exactly.
how can we help you? So I'm like, okay, give us more money. But like, what are you gonna do with that money?
Yeah, for
Is
me,
kind of
it's
the
the
next.
support, and not to put barriers on the approach that you're taking, because if you're taking it, you nobody else knows your community better than you, right? Because you live in it, you work in it. So it's we cannot do like advertisement or marketing or the relationship with the community like a cookie cutter, right? It has to be it is different. Every community is different. You cannot approach a Hispanic community the same as an Indian community. It's completely different. um, and I think that's, for me, that's the biggest pit laugh, that they want to check the community engagement that you're doing and approve some things, and others don't approve. I mean, how do you know it's not gonna work? You don't even know my community, right? So I think that given the budget, not putting so many barriers to for the sites, and when they can, if they are able to, I mean, I'm sure they can, like providing also the materials and the workforce if needed. Like it's nice when you, for example, a clinic brings somebody like a medical liaison that know a lot about the study for people to answer the questions. Or let's say that you need an equipment for something, maybe renting it is an option for the site, and the sponsor providing those resources.
Yep.
I mean, that would be what I think. How about you
Negative
guys?
70 freezer would be nice. Dry ice maker. We bought that already. I love that thing.
I just was talking to Daisy about buying one.
Was Daisy there when I had it?
No, but I asked her that.
Ah,
She
that was
looked at
AD after Daisy.
re Oh, that's gonna be our new timeline.
Yeah.
BC and AD
Yes. Before COVID and after
after
Daisy.
Daisy. Lee, man,
Lee.
you do a great job, and you're always the one of the biggest SOS supporters. Save our sites.
I
You've
was
also,
gonna say that please bring Che to this year,
oh
this
yeah, you can bring them.
SOS.
You know what? I might be able to. I don't know. I might be able just to send them. I'm hesitant on whether or not
Let's get a
I'm going to be
budget from
able
one of
to.
these sponsors to pay for it, and I mean it's up to him, but it would be really cool.
I mean, I don't mind paying for it to get him involved. The more knowledge he gets and sees other sites, and the thing is, you know, we might be able to help other sites replicate what we're doing in different parts of the country, which will just expand research. I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, anything that's going to help out
I
more
think the Native
communities.
Americans are like the most underrepresented group in clinical trials, like by far.
Yeah, yeah. It's unique. He was talking about how it's better to have the small ones out there. I think, and you were talking about how I always talk to people, kind of mashing those together.
Yeah.
I think when smaller site owners are out in the community talking, especially at like a community event when we have our children, they see that we're genuine, we're authentic. It's hard to get an employee for like a pharmaceutical company who's basically decked out with all their sponsors looking like a stock car driver to be taken seriously. And there's certainly it's hard to believe them if they come with an altruistic approach, because it just presents like they're here for them, not here for us. Where when you're out as a small site owner, your genuineness that you really want to help comes across. People believe that it's authentic and they know it, and that really is encouraging to them. So then they, whether they can participate or not, they want to participate in helping you and their community because they believe that, I don't want to say they believe, they know that you actually have some benefits to offer and it's going to be a good thing. It's hard to get that level of authenticity with like a paid promoter, so to speak.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Did you book your room at the Omni
For
or you're going to for SO?
at the end, I
Just
don't
tell
know
me
that
you will.
I will. I'll try. I don't know that I can make it yet. I may have booked it
Oh,
already. I'm not sure.
okay.
I'm going to the liver meeting in 2 weeks, and I think I'm staying at the Omni there. I'm taking
The
my
liver meeting. Monica, this is very concerning. We have our super fan, Lee Eifler. He doesn't even know if he got a room. He's
I,
talking about a
I
liver meeting instead. Chop
no, no, no,
liver.
no. That's in 2 weeks. The problem is you're asking me to plan something out 5 months
Okay.
away.
The better way would be Lee. I know you're gonna book at the Omni for the OKC, or did you already get an
I,
Airbnb?
Well, no, I might be coming out in the RV. So
Oh my God,
oh,
Monica, we
that's
got a
even.
problem.
I might have the motorhome there. That's what I'm kind of waiting on.
Man, I might need to sleep in the RV myself, man.
I'm gonna have my
Lee.
son. I may have my son with me. So
Okay, I got you.
it's
Oh,
in
that would
Oklahoma
be
City.
nice.
OKC,
So
yeah. Speaking of
um,
Native American, I mean, surrounded, that's like the capital of Native American tribe. I think it's the most tribes per uh square
I know
foot
actually,
anywhere in the state, right?
Arizona is.
Arizona, more than OKC?
Mhm.
Wow, okay. Well, those are the places that you
My
got to do your
site,
studies.
my site is actually kind of nestled between three reservations. So
Wow.
Yeah, we're within two or three. The Ketchon, the Cocoa Paw, and there might be one more, another one.
What
All right here as well.
yeah,
what is your side, Lee?
it's in Tempe, Arizona, right on the Awatuki border.
You
I
drove
think I
through it,
have been
Monica, when
there.
you went to
Yeah.
SOS. It's on
No,
the
no, no,
10.
I think I have been there because I have traveled from California to Texas.
Oh yeah,
So
for
I
sure.
went through basically a big part of
You passed through.
Arizona. And then this year I went to visit Arizona and I went to different reservations and things. I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
What time you must have came in like the fall or the spring?
I went on the spring.
Yeah, summertime is it's a little rough. I'm gonna be in your neck
I
of the
actually
woods. I think the 15th through the 17th or something. I'm gonna be in San Diego. If you want to connect up and
15
have
through the
coffee or
17th.
something, I'd love
Yeah,
to.
you guys should do it, an in-person pod.
Ooh.
15, 17th, you're passing through Yuma or no?
I don't know if I'm flying or driving yet.
Okay. I
I
was gonna
may.
say we get some tacos again. Tacos and beer.
Yeah, maybe it depends if I come out on a Thursday. If I head out Thursday night, I'll stop by.
Okay.
If I'm driving, I'm torn with the drive versus the driving versus flying right now. So I'm
Well, Lee, exemplary work, man. Have the sponsors at least taken notice or not?
um yeah, I think so. So I have I honestly I don't think I have a study that I haven't screened a Native American for yet. So
And what do the sponsors say when you, or
they
they don't
like
say
it.
anything?
So I've got a study right now that's probably that I'm waiting to enroll, and we're waiting on one of the suppliers to get us access to the portal. They just activated us today, but I can't enroll until the portal's done. But I think we're gonna have about we might even be 20 or 30% Native American in that study.
Wow.
Um uh
Well done, my gosh.
um, yeah, yeah.
That's Macoa health for you.
It's it's I had to say, well, it's a pretty desirable study. It's probably one of the best clinical trials I've ever seen. I don't want to talk about it, but it's designed really well. There's a
Or is
lot
it
of
weight loss?
it is weight loss, and there's no
Ah, yeah, that's the one I was trying to get to, man. They were too lazy to come out to Yuma. Shout
it's
out to this sponsor that shall remain nameless.
yes, I know
Too lazy.
it's one of my favorite sponsors.
Yeah, me too. Me
It's one of my
too.
favorite sponsors, and it's the
We
best.
love them still,
The
They
design
give
of
us
it's the best
another one,
clinical
but
trial.
that
I
one you
think
got is awesome.
I think I have a good grasp of wishes that which sponsor it is.
yeah, what's unique about the what where we've been successful with weight loss studies is our retention rate. And this is what it's important, why it's important to treat people like people, and they have to want to come in and they have to have fun when they come into their visits and not be 3 hours of painful, just excruciating being ignored. I mean, we have fun TVs they can watch. We have Chive TV around our office. We don't leave patients alone while we're doing stuff, so they're entertained. We talk to them, or we'll meet them where they're at socially. Some people want to be talked to. They want to ask questions, even if it's just "How's your day?" They but I don't like we don't leave patients alone in a room unless they want to be left alone in the room. They want to socialize. They want to talk. I actually had a patient that called earlier because he wanted to talk about the bet he lost on the Jets game, betting on the Texans that he did in our office. Him and our coordinators were talking about football, and he was placing bets on a app. And then
With
he
the
called
study
back and he's
stipend.
like, "Oh, you should have. I should have took the Jets."
Put the
So
study stipend to good use.
maybe I don't know that that's what it was, but he was having fun and he was so excited. But it says something when patients are so excited that they want to call back just to tell you the results of the
Yeah.
football game score and how they won their bet and talk to the coordinators. They're calling us for they're calling us because they had a good time at their visit. They're definitely showing up for their next visit, and they like that we answer the phone and get back to them.
Yep.
Uh, we build.
Who mans or womans the phone? Like, do you have an admin yet? Because
Um,
that gets crazy with all the. We have an admin, and he just went back to nursing school, so we need another admin. But right now, one of the coordinators doing it. But it's like that alone is a full-time job.
90% of the time, I am the one answering the phone.
Wow, you're on the phone
Right.
constantly, man.
So yeah, so because I like I like making the initial contact
Wow.
with patients, especially I've been doing this quite a while. I have a pretty good grasp on the medications. So when they really have questions about the study, I can tell them how the medication works. And I'll tell them straight, hey, it's really not a good fit for you, but I'll keep you in the list when we have one that is. This isn't going to be as beneficial as you're hoping. But when they ask questions, especially because I guess you could say scientifically, or I have a weak background in biology. I have a stronger background in, you know, in pharma, but because I struggle with it, it makes it easier for me to put it in terms that the average patient can understand. So before we take on a protocol and start recruiting, I sit down with my doctor for sometimes hours where he's teaching me and I'm learning how the science behind the medication works, or the science behind the IP works. And then I take that and decipher a way that I could understand it. So it takes me a lot of research to understand how he explains it well, but then I have to break it down to a different level where, well, if I didn't have the background knowledge I have, how would I understand this? And then I
Yeah.
practice on on other people. Does that make sense to you? Does that make you feel comfortable? And then through talking to patients, it really comes into not a script, but a flowable conversation that people can relate to and they understand, and makes them feel comfortable and excited to participate.
Lee, exemplary work, man. Might need to get you on a panel live from your RV if you're not in the SOS arena.
Well, I'll probably be at SOS, but
Can you at
I
least
don't know.
park your RV in the Omni? Would that count as a booked room? Monica?
If you need to sell rooms, look, my staff isn't going to be with me. I will go
What?
on.
Where's Daisy gonna be at, man?
Someone's got to run the show. No, they're not going to be with me in the RV. I'll get a room at the Omni at least for one of my staff.
Ah,
Yeah, it's
gotcha.
like we actually negotiated a good deal for the attendees. It's $219 per night.
Yeah, but it's so
Whoa,
good. Everyone's
whoa,
going somewhere else.
whoa.
People are gonna need to stay in the hotel. That's where the party's at. Don't be staying in RVs in the desert or in an Airbnb. We pre-booked,
And
man.
it's a brand new hotel too, so the rooms and everything looks very good.
My next podcast will be random musings from a stressed out conference organizer. Let's do it, guys.
Organizing big events is extremely stressful and challenging, especially because you never seem to have enough attendees at first, and then they start piling in, and then the questions keep coming. I mean, it's just a lot of work. I don't think people acknowledge how much work it is. And this is Dr. Hooten. Do you want to say hi, Dr. Hooten?
Hey, Dr.
Hello,
Hooten.
how
Thank
are
you
you?
for doing a good job out there with Lee. You guys are making an impact in the communities. We just had a Native American tribal liaison on, and that's a very impressive work.
Good. Yeah, that's sort of our niche, the unusual, atypical client.
Yep, very good work.
Dr. Hooten's going to the liver meeting with me in a couple
Ah,
weeks.
okay.
And, you might get to meet Monica. She's from San Diego. She'll be down there, maybe.
I'm actually in Orange County, but I'm
Oh, you're in
close to
Orange
San
County.
Diego.
I
Mhm.
thought you were in. Well, you're gonna have to drive. If I'm going
Judy.
all that way, you're gonna have to hop
Judy
and
is
south for an hour.
is in San Diego, but yeah, we can plan something definitely.
I forgot you're Orange County, Monica. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
That Judy's just as
Judy's.
good. I'll talk to Judy.
Same thing. These
Um,
Orange County people, they're
Yeah.
special.
Thanks, Dr. Hooten.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Telling someone from
No,
Orange
no,
County
that was
they're
our
from
mistake. We did.
somewhere else
We
is
we made
like
it work a little better anyway. So
telling someone from Scottsdale
thank
that
you.
they're from Tempe or something.
Sorry, our doctor just popped in at the end of the day.
Good PI, man.
Yeah, he's a full-time PI. So he
I tried to put in a good word for
Oh, I
you, but I
love
don't think it
that.
worked very well. But I tried, man.
Dr. Hooten is he's probably I don't want to say he's definitely he's one of the best PIs I've ever worked with at any of my clinics. He's attentive. He's a lot of PIs, they're especially during an SIV or a PSV, they're like, well, when's my 15 minutes done? Let's get to my portion, and then they get out. He sits through the entire he
Wow.
sits through the entire SIV, and he doesn't just sit through it, he's engaged. He asks questions. And of course, every monitor says, I'll check on that and get back to you, because every question he asks at such a high level that
Those monitors are like pissing their pants when he's asking questions. They
um
don't teach them the science stuff.
no, but he's engaged, and he gets responses back, and then he follows up on them, so he knows protocols really well. And he just likes doing it, and he's great with our patients, especially the diverse population we have. He gets along with all of them, even the ones that don't speak English, when we're translating.
Oh, is
Uh,
he bilingual or
no,
okay.
well, I think he speaks Yiddish, and English,
Interesting,
but
man. Oy vey.
I think he speaks a little Italian too.
Okay, mangia bene.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, unless the monitor is IMG, they don't have that knowledge.
Unless they've been IMG coming through. I like what you did here, Monica. The CRC Academy, just like Lee's, I don't know, best CRC, Daisy Villanueva, who's a CRC Academy alumni.
I was thinking about sending Che to CRC Academy.
Bring him in. By the way, Monica, Daisy said she never got her. Seeing her reminded me she never received her certificate from the CRC
Who?
Academy. Daisy, Lee's
Oh,
best
okay.
employee.
Oh, ask her to send me a message, and I will
Okay.
make sure she
I'll
gets it.
introduce you on LinkedIn. And then I told her she has the wrong logo for our academy on there on her LinkedIn, so she's gonna change it. Just taking care of some
Daisy.
like little upkeep.
I
Don't mind
remember
us, man.
Daisy very well, of
Really?
course.
Shoot.
Yeah. I
Yeah, she was a
remember I remember probably 80% of the students.
okay. Do you remember Lana? We just had a review with Lana today.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Gracia,
Mm-hmm.
Louis,
Yes.
Katie. I mean, you've trained every. Monica's
Yeah.
gonna end up training all the coordinators at every site at some point. Well,
And for
guys,
Lee, I have trained 2 or 3.
Daisy,
Two.
I don't know who else. I lost track of names. But guys, it was a good podcast. I think Lee, you're doing a great job. You're not just talking it. Everyone does that. It's easy to do. Diversity, diversity, blah blah blah. You're actually out there going to powwows. You're putting your money where your mouth is, and I think more of that needs to be done and less like bullshit. So you're one of the real ones out there, man.
Well, you have a whole. I mean, you are the clinical trials guru. You're writing books. You've got podcasts. You've got a whole infrastructure network, CRO. By the way, shout out to your DSCS. They do a fantastic job. Um,
Thank you.
Even after the fact, I switched locations. I was a member of DSCS for a long time. It was a big help. I mean, best money I spent in research. Anybody that starts a research site, first thing you should do is sign up for DSCS.
Wow, I'm gonna
And
put that short on the website.
actually, after even they sent me a lead for something I got a really good trial from something it was about 6 or 8 months after I had left, and I think it's
Yeah,
Julie still sent it to me.
send it
Just
to me and
because they
Monica,
reached
man.
out to
Let's
me.
do this.
So
Let's
thank
do
you.
this.
But all of the infrastructure you've put in place, or the ecosystem, uh, so to speak, is fantastic. And all the
Thank you,
volunteer
man.
work you do,
Thank you, man.
interviewing people, creating opportunities. I personally know people I mean, they're getting jobs, not just from what you taught them, but from connections that you connect up, even if it's not even people that you've connected up directly. I mean, people that talk to people that you talk to end up hiring others. So it's really a wide net you're casting, and it's beneficial on the whole industry. So
It's a
thank you.
movement, man. But we need, all the people I interviewed, we still don't have enough doers. We have way too many talkers. The talking to doing ratio is way too skewed. We need to get back to what you're doing, man. And what you're doing is not easy. That's why people don't do it, but it's
Shout
what
out to
works.
Hightower too. If you want to talk about a doer, man, that
Oh
guy
yeah,
is a
yeah.
mover. That guy is a mover and a shaker.
That guy's moving and shaking so much he's not on any of our meetings, man. I need to talk to him.
He's an SOS guy too, right?
Of course.
Yeah, that's why it's in Oklahoma City. It's probably the only way you could get him to go. He's so busy. He
We had
probably
an
demanded. He
agreement.
put it
We
in
had
my
an agreement
backyard.
that last year would be Arizona, next year would be OKC, but then year three, I don't know. TBD. Monica wants to do it on Mars, and we may do it on Belize or in the Caribbean,
So
Antigua maybe,
my
the south of
IT
France perhaps.
my IT person lives in Belize.
Well,
I
there
have
we
a
go.
company in Belize. I sold it. I had an apartment there. I know Belize well.
What do you think, Monica? South of
Wow.
France, Monaco? Where should we do? Where should we do it?
No, I have a pretty
Boise,
good idea
Boise,
where it's
Idaho.
gonna. I have a pretty good idea where it's gonna be.
Oh, do you get to pick next?
I think she
Huh?
gets to pick next year.
You get to pick next?
No, I think Ashley already picked where it's
Oh,
gonna be next.
I'm not going to Texas again.
You know what'd be interesting? What if you get, when you sell a ticket, for this year, what about a survey where people got to vote on what they liked
Where
best
they
for,
wanna, that would be
why not
amazing.
go after, make your customers happy. The ones that are buying
Exactly.
that
That's
are
such a
buying
great point.
registration. That'd be
Okay,
interesting.
let's
Might be
start
too
with
late for the
you.
tickets, but we can do it on the survey. Yeah,
Too
where would
late,
you
but
want it? Where would you want it?
Yeah,
me?
where would you want it? Yeah.
Awatucky,
No,
Scottsdale?
well, I wouldn't want it over spring break like it is this year. I'd want the date moved a little.
What date do you prefer?
I don't know. I'll have to get my kid's schedule and get back to you.
Okay, what location would you prefer?
Like February, probably.
Uh, Location would depend on the time of the year. If it's like the middle of summer,
No, no,
I
let's
would
say it's like
like
February, March.
No, probably February.
if it's
Yeah.
February, March, it's got to be south, someplace where there's no snow. Miami's great, SoCal's great, South Padre Island, Texas maybe. I mean that's kind of hard to find a location there. Atlanta is always good. I like Atlanta as a city. Charleston maybe.
Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, below the go
Never
some.
been.
It depends, you know. I mean, you can stick to. It'd be interesting to go outside of the research norm, where I mean, there's definitely an abundance of research in Florida and California. You know, the Northeast, Boston.
Yeah. I would like in a completely different place.
Yeah, but if you're going to do February, it's got to be below the Mason-Dixon line because nobody wants to go to Montana in February.
Yeah, of
Albuquerque, New
course.
Mexico. Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Well, Santa Fe is going to have snow in February. I wouldn't.
Albuquerque.
Yeah,
How about
Albuquerque.
Nashville?
Nashville's a good call.
Too
I
cold in
like
February.
Nashville. Louisville, Kentucky's a great.
Okay, get some
You know,
Louisville
Iowa's
Slugger.
not bad either.
Iowa?
Yeah.
Okay.
In February, it's not gonna be good, and I guess Louisville would be a little cold as well. So, but Nashville's not bad.
Well, Lee, we'll take these under consideration, man.
Don't somebody
Everybody,
more important than me needs to decide that. That's for
But
certain.
if everybody receives a survey with that question, it was Lee's idea.
Who do you have for sponsors for SOS now?
do we announce?
Ooh,
That's all
we
Monica,
have
because that would
very
screw it up.
Can you announce that? I don't know. I just thanks to all the sponsors that are supporting it. It's
Oh, of
whether you get
course.
an
I
Sponsored
mean,
article or
we
not.
thank
by
all the sponsors, but I mean, we're gonna have
Sponsored by Brad
we're gonna
Hightower, Hightower Clinical. That's a good sponsor this
we're
year.
gonna have like pharmaceutical companies as sponsors this year. We're gonna have vendors. We're gonna have
We got some pharma
other
ones already.
sites. We're gonna CROs. We're gonna have also companies that offer services that sites need that many people don't know they are actually available. I think this year the sponsorship group is pretty amazing. We're gonna start announcing them and doing the round tables to showcase every single company so everybody will know exactly who are they, what they do, and who they can contact. And like this year, we're gonna have the opportunity for people to in the application to set up meetings with like one-on-one with these organizations. So they have the chance to complete to truly meet and network on one-on-one level. So very good.
Guys, everybody, go connect with Lee right now. His LinkedIn is underneath the video and in the show notes. And same to my fabulous co-host today, Monica, who started out as my recruiter slash spy. I thought it was a spy. That part's not true. She was just a recruiter. But connect with both of them ASAP.
Yeah, and I would like
Dan,
to
you
say that
convinced me too. Tell them to connect with me on LinkedIn, and then we can meet up at the Omni at SOS because that's where I'm gonna stay. Leaving the RV at
Yes.
home. I'm coming to the
yes.
Omni. You heard it here first. It's official. I'm gonna buy a ticket. I'm gonna get it all scheduled tomorrow. At least one room. I might bring some staff too. I
You're
was gonna
doing your
send staff,
part. The
now
environment thanks you.
Yeah, thank you. And the CRC Academy next class is gonna be on December. We
we
will
should do
start
a
this.
community development panel. Talk to it with the SOS board. I'd
That
love
would
to
not
sit
be
on
bad.
that.
Okay.
Community
Community
development
development panel.
Diversity,
panel.
yeah. You know, fun to talk
Wow.
about
And you're
farmhouse.
gonna be in it. Now
Of course.
you know now that.
Write it
I
down,
would I'd
guys.
love to. I just love it.
The Otter AI is taking notes. We have receipts. Guys, I gotta run, but thank
Yes.
you guys so much. I really
Thank you so
appreciate this.
much.
Everybody,
Thank you.
connect right
Monica, we'll
now.
have to connect up soon. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate you as always.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.